thank you all for coming in, and I want to shout out everyone who's put so much effort into this day, specifically our central program team, Clotilde and Squire, who spearheaded this event. I want to give a special shout out to Jaime Torres, our previous director of programming and outreach, helped link us up this event and broaden this appeal over the years. So, without any further ado, I just wanted to introduce DJ G.I. Joe. I've got a little spiel here. Joseph Rivera, also known as DJ G.I. Joe, was born in the Lower East Side of New York City, raised in a Puerto Rican family. Joe grew up immersed in music flavors, deeply influenced by hip-hop culture, beats, rhymes, and moves. His love of music and movement gravitated him to the world of breakdancing, where he became a distinguished member of crews such as the Lords of Illusion, Turntable Nihilus, Full Circle, Supreme Beings, and the iconic Almighty Zulu Kings. As a DJ, Joe has brought the art of turntablism to life at battles and breakdancing events. It was one such event where he connected with the renowned artist Immortal Technique, an introduction that would lead him to touring aside other underground legends like Diabolic, the late Chino XL, and the late Pumpkinhead, among many others. So without any further ado, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to DJ G.I. Joe.
Hello everybody, how are y'all doing today?
Hey.
You guys good for sure? Yes? It's good to see so many faces in here. You heard the man, my name is DJ G.I. Joe, Joseph Rivera. I'm probably gonna walk out here because I want to be close to the people. Yeah, sorry if there's any feedback. So, you heard a little introduction. I am from New York City originally, born in Manhattan.
Woo!
Yeah,
Manhattan.
right? Where it was very poor and very Puerto Rican. We're talking about New York City in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay, and if there's some people in here that are unfamiliar, New York City in the 80s was a special place where there was not a lot going on outside of so many negative things. And my mother said, you know, if we don't get out of here, we're not gonna make it. So my mother left. But before we left, I lived in a house full of music. Non-stop music. And when I mean music, I mean my grandfather was the first person, I didn't know it then, but he was the first person that influenced me in a way that I would never forget. He was like a scientist. He had surround sound in the house, in the apartment that we lived in, before surround sound existed, okay? Yeah, he had everything. He had reel-to-reels. I don't know, some kids in here don't know what a reel-to-reel is, or a cassette, or even a vinyl. Thanks to y'all, some of these kids are gonna know what vinyl is. But he had reel-to-reel players, he had tape decks, and he had a turntable. And my grandfather, I would watch him. He would take the reel-to-reel and connect it. You know, it's a piece of tape, connect it to the other one, perfectly time it, press play, and his big machine would start moving, and music would come out of it. And I was like, this is amazing. And I'm like, you know, my mother's away in her days in the streets doing her thing, and I'm just watching my grandfather. I'm like, this is crazy. How does music come out of this thing? And then there was the 8-track players, and there were cassettes, but then there was the records. Now the records, everything else was cool, but the records were a special kind of time capsule, special type of thing that you couldn't wrap your head around it, because you're looking at it and you're seeing this microscopic thing, and music's coming out of that too. You're like, how is music coming out of so many things? And I'm this little kid, I'm like 5, 6 years old, 7, this is my early years, the most influential time in a kid's life. And what grabbed me, what made me realize that records, vinyl, whatever you want to call it, was what made them so valuable. Why they meant something to me that day was because my grandfather had a machine, right? An automatic machine. He would take the records and he would put them inside this machine, and he would press a button and it would spin, and it would clean the records. All right, you don't clean a reel-to-reel. You don't clean a cassette. But he was cleaning the records. He had a machine to do that, and he loved his records. So I'm this little kid watching this, and I'm taking notice. I'm like, these things gotta be valuable. There's a reason why he's cleaning them. I didn't know back then it was just to keep it clean and so it sounded good, but to preserve a record meant that it meant something to you. You wanted to keep it in the shape where in a year from now you could still play it again and it sounds just as good. So I'm very young. I'm still trying to understand what's going on. All I know is there's speakers everywhere in the house. And my grandfather would turn the music so loud that, you know, in Puerto Rican homes, I don't know if everybody else understands, but they have a lot of figurines, right? A lot of figurines, right? And so my grandmother had them all over the place, and they would vibrate and eventually fall off and smash on the floor. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, because he had the music cranking, boom, all the salsa, the merengue, all types of music that you don't really hear too much anymore. So, like I said, my grandfather was the one that took me on this musical journey from the beginning. I have a lot to thank my grandfather for. Everybody had records in their house when I was growing up, and the rule was kids don't touch the records. So what did I want to do? Touch the records. And eventually I did. You end up touching the records and you understand that you're gonna get your hand slapped when you do that. So fast forward, my mother, I reunite with my mother because we weren't together for a little, maybe 2 years. I reunite with my mother and she's like, we're getting out of New York City. Okay, where are we going? We're going to Massachusetts. I didn't like that idea. Leaving all my friends behind. But while I'm in Massachusetts, I start finding myself as a young teenager, start finding myself around all the elements of life, getting into trouble, getting into this, getting into that. But the one thing I will tell you is that the music always brought me back to the reality that I was supposed to be a part of. Meaning no matter how much I went in this other direction, I was always pulled back by the music. Every single time. No matter how hard, no matter how much I tried to be on another path, I got pulled back. Not as a DJ, but as a dancer. So I see some kids in here. How many of these kids in here, you put the music on and they jumping? Every day, she says, okay. I was that kid. I was the life of the party. You couldn't tell me to stop dancing if the music came on. Why? Because I grew up that way. I grew up in a house of music. So it wasn't gonna change. They thought I was hyper. They tried to, in that day, they want to put you on this and that, and no. I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna love this party, I'm gonna keep it rocking, I don't care what time it is, we moving. So I wanted to be a DJ, but I didn't know how I was gonna be a DJ, and I wasn't really sure I wanted to be a DJ, but I kinda knew because I love music so much, and I'm like, I wanna hear these songs. If I could just hear these songs, like I already knew what I wanted to play. So DJing is expensive. You guys heard the man earlier, this stuff costs thousands of dollars, and in the 80s, 90s, thousands of dollars was a lot of money. So naturally I was a dancer because that dance is free. Yeah. You could dance right now. No one's gonna stop you, right? So when I was in the beginning of my journey, just absorb the music, it was only right that I start off as a dancer. Not only did I start taking it serious, but I went as far as I could go with it. I started winning all my high school and middle school dance battles and contests and everything. And I don't know if they still do this in schools. I don't know if they still have dance competitions. I have no idea. But back in my day, I'm at that age now. Back in my day, they used to have dances. DJ would come in, and I would be the kid that would be like this. Just picture me, this man's size. And I'm watching the DJ. Right? I'm just watching him. I'm like, what is this guy doing? This thing's spinning, and if you ever seen one of these spin, these little balls on the side, they look crazy. It's like, I'm like, what? I'm amazed. But then I still want to dance. I'm still gonna go dance, but I would go dance and then I'd come back and watch the DJ as he's mixing the records, because he's amazing, right? To me, he's amazing. Maybe he wasn't that good back then, but I'm a little kid. So I'm inspired. High school had me, middle school had me, I'm off the wall. I'm at the YMCAs, I'm all these places. And I'm like, man, I love to dance, but I think I want to be a DJ. I really think I want to be a DJ. And so I would watch Def Comedy Jam. How many people here remember Def Comedy Jam? So I see a lot of, all right, y'all with me now. Y'all my age. Who remembers who DJ'd on Def Comedy Jam?
Kid Capri.
Say it again?
Kid Capri.
Kid Capri. Kid Capri and Def Comedy Jam single-handedly molded me into this this animal of a dancer and a DJ. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I didn't watch it for the funny. I didn't watch it. I was too young to understand the jokes. But at the end of every single show, there were dancers. Right? Not only were they dancers, but they were the best dancers that money could put on the stage. And what did DJ Kid Capri do at the end? He scratched for them. And I'm watching this. I'm too young to be watching HBO. I'm not supposed to be watching this, right? But I'm watching it, and I'm like, so you got this guy spinning music for these I'm a dancer. I could do that, but I also want to do this, right? So the dream is now starting to kick in. I'm like, man, one day I want to be like Kid Capri. One day, all right? So fast forward, and I'm still just an ordinary dancer, and I'm trying to be the best. And I start battling in parks, and I start taking breakdancing serious. I'm still not DJing yet. I think this might have been around the age of 15 years old. You can Google what year. Let's see, I don't remember the year. What year did Step Into a World come out? KRS-One. You guys know who KRS-One is? KRS-One. He had a song called Step Into a World that was sampled from another song from back in the days. It was a great song, but in the music video, there was a bunch of breakdancers.
97.
97. So I was about 16 years old.
15.
What was it? You said 15?
Oh, I would have been 15.
Okay, yeah, I was about 16 years old. And so I'm too young to afford turntables, but I'm watching this video and I'm like, this is everything. This is everything. And I didn't know at that time this was a turning point in hip hop because it hadn't been done for a long time. And they got the best dancers in the video. They have Rockefeller, they have Quick Step, they had a whole bunch of full circle people, and now they had just like the street hitters, and this is one of the most raw hip hop songs in history to ever come out. And I'm watching this music video with my friend Popsicle, and I'm like, this is incredible. I want to be with those guys. I want to be with Full Circle, right? And this is me making goals for myself without knowing. I'm like, I said it, I spoke it. So eventually my mother saw how much I really wanted to be a DJ, and I stressed this to parents. I wanted to be a DJ so bad, but I was a dancer. They knew I was good, but I wanted to be a DJ so bad that my mother, the hardest working woman on the planet, legally blind, and all the challenges she had to raise 2 kids, me and my sister, she took all the money she had and she went to the store, Radio Shack. I know that's another store no one knows about. Yeah. So she went and she spent every dollar she could. She said, you know what, I'm gonna buy my son these turntables. They weren't great. They were like, they weren't made for what I wanted to do, but I was proud. She bought me 2 turntables, a mixer, 2 cassette deck players, and a coffin with 2 15-inch speakers. She spent a lot of money. I didn't know it back then, but I was like, this is it. I made it. I'm gonna be the man. All right. So now I'm already DJing. I'm already. Sorry, not DJ, but I'm already dancing. I've already proven I'm good at this. And now I'm DJing, and I start DJing in my neighborhood. Not just in my neighborhood, but just like I'm the guy in the neighborhood. I'm playing the songs that they want to hear. I'm not even old enough to be outside till 2 in the morning, but I'm in these people's apartments throwing house parties. Boom, boom, boom. We're going. I'm starting to understand what reading a room is like, what people want to hear. I'm like, man, this is what I dreamed of, not knowing that it could only get better. So she bought me those turntables, and I was like, I need better. I want to be better. I can't do the things that Kid Capri was doing on these turntables. I need better. So naturally, I patiently practiced on what I had until I can get Gemini turntables. They were still not good. I still remember the model number. They were Gemini BD10s, not built for scratching, but boy, I was scratching. Right? And now I have a mixer, nothing like this. The mixers back in the days had screws on the top, because the big thing at that time was replaceable faders, because the faders would bleed. They wouldn't work anymore. So you could replace it. That was like the big deal at that time. I would practice so much that my fingers would bleed from them screws because I was so hungry. I wanted to beat Kid Capri so bad. And after watching my first DMC battle mixtape, VHS tape, I ordered out of a magazine, a hip hop magazine. It was a DMC World Champion. I had the opportunity to see DJ Qbert and Mixmaster Mike for the first time in my life. And I was mind blown because they weren't doing what Kid Capri was doing. They was on another level. I didn't know existed, right? I didn't know this level of I didn't know this existed. And then later on in the video, you come across DJ Rock Raider, rest in peace, the Grandmaster. And when I saw Rock Raider, there was something different. He was doing things I didn't, he was doing body tricks and beat juggling and doing all this stuff that I was like, how is he able to do so many things at once? I want to learn this, but I couldn't do it on the turntables I had. They weren't made for it. So I had to keep waiting. I had to keep dancing. I had to keep just dealing with what I had and making the most of it. And now I'm making mixtapes, cassettes for my friends. I'm already known as the neighborhood DJ. I'm already known as the dancer, Little Joey in the park, because I'm dancing in the park. So I'm getting a little reputation, right? But now I didn't want to just be Kid Capri. I wanted to be Rock Raider now. I wanted to do the body tricks. I wanted to, you know what I mean? I wanted to do what these guys were doing. How could I get there? I had to work. I had to put myself in position. So as soon as I got old enough, what did I do? I left and I went to New York City. I went back to New York City. You said it. I went back to New York City. And remember, I said I wanted to be down with those guys in Full Circle. I wanted to be down. I was speaking these things, and sure enough, I made it to Full Circle. I became a member of Full Circle. Wow. I was doing head spins alongside the guy that I saw in KRS-One's video. Now, you couldn't have told me when I saw this KRS-One video that was gonna happen. I wouldn't have believed you. If you told me that, I wouldn't have believed you. How was I gonna make that happen? How was I gonna be with these legends on TV? I left to New York City where they were. And little did I know that every single time I busted a move in the park, every single hour I spent practicing is what got me there. Because by the time I met them, I was more prepared than I even realized. I was better than some of their students. So naturally, I was an overachiever clearly, but didn't know it. Just the hunger to be dope. My number one goal was to just be dope. And it took me to become a member of Full Circle. I still wasn't DJing as much as I wanted to, but it was coming. I met a man by the name of DJ DP1. You know DP1? And I'm gonna tell you how I met DJ DP1. I was shopping for records at Fat Beats. Okay, Fat Beats is like a historic record store in New York City. It was the place you would go to buy all the best hip hop records. It was the only place. It was the heart of New York City hip hop. You wanted to find something there, it was gonna be there. It was an iconic store. It was hard to find. It's on the second floor. You gotta walk up the stairs. It wasn't like a storefront. but it was legendary.
Does it still exist?
It does not.
Whoa.
Yeah. But lucky for me, I was alive around the time it did, and I ended up going to the version in Amsterdam.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
But I'm gonna get there. So, Fat Beats, I'm there with a man named Static Selector. You guys ever heard of him?
No.
So me and Static Selector, we maybe 19 years old, not even. I think we might have been, we're driving my mother's car. I don't even think we were that old. Because all this is happening really quick. And we're shopping for records. We're like in it, this is a tourist attraction for us. We never been to a hip hop store. You know, you go to a regular record store, it's not Fat Beats. You guys gotta understand, Fat Beats was not just a regular music store like they have. It was an iconic hip hop store. And they had a DJ in there. And boy, DP1 was going off. He was in there beat juggling, scratching, and he was so clean and precision. I was impressed. I'm like, man, I want friends like this. So, brave me, I introduced myself to him in the store. Hey, my name is Joe. Just like you. And my only thing I could ask him was, hey man, I'm just looking for other DJs to scratch with in New York City. That was it. And he gave me his pager number, bro.
Yeah, pager.
Give me a pager number. That's how old this story is. And I saved the number, and it didn't happen that day. I paged him. It didn't happen that day, but I didn't give up. I kept his pager number, and I made frequent trips to New York City. And every time I was coming to New York City, like to visit, I always stayed in touch. And I always made it a point to hit up DP1. DP1 ended up being the man I moved in with in Brooklyn, which ultimately would alter the course of my entire life. Okay? So when I move in with DP1 looks at me and goes, before you know it, you're gonna be touring the world. And when he said it, I laughed. I was like, all right. DP1 had already done so much in his life at that time, and he's a little bit older than me. Not by a lot, but he's a little bit older than me. But he had already been in the scene. He knew everybody. And I was new. I'm like, I don't know anybody in New York City. He knew rappers, he knew DJs, he knew famous underground artists. And so for me, I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna happen, but he sees it. He sees something in me I couldn't see in myself, which kind of gave me some hope, because I'm like, maybe I am good enough. You see, the thing is when you're a kid and you come and you're growing up and you have all these circumstances against you, you don't feel good enough. You grow up not feeling good enough. And it wasn't until someone told me that I was good enough that I started to believe it. I started working harder. I started working on routines. I started, you know what? Maybe I can do it. You know? So it's important that we tell the young people, yes, you can do it. You know? These young people here today, I know they barely listening, but you plant the seed in them and they will listen. It just might take some time. But I was that little kid that was like, maybe. I was like, still, I'm a guy. Most guys, we take a long time to mature. I was immature. I was naive. I didn't know how the business worked. And I didn't understand how I was going to get to that. And I was doing all these odd jobs. I was doing jobs I hated. And then I started doing things for DJing to make money. I mean, everything. I mean, from bar mitzvahs to, weird stuff that I didn't want to do. But you got to do it in order to become a better DJ. You got to do it to get your stage presence. You got to do these. You got to pay your dues doing all these kind of things so you can become the DJ that you're going to become. But you just don't know it in the moment. You don't know that this is going to help you in 5 years when you're on stage in front of 30,000 people, right? You don't know this. So after I win a bunch of b-boy things and I start touring the nation. I'm touring the nation at this point as a dancer. Nobody's taking me serious as a DJ yet. Because remember, DJing was my first dancing was my first passion because it was free. So I got turntables. I got all the stuff now. I'm in New York City. And I'm still just known as B-Boy G.I. Joe. And the reason they called me B-Boy G.I. Joe was because I was always wearing camouflage pants. It was the style in the 90s. And I was running with full circle soldiers. And my name is Joe. And so it was natural. DJ, B-boy G.I. Joe. And I was aggressive because I was hyper, I was aggressive. I was known as monster legs. I was a powerhouse. I was known for my head spins. I was known for the power moves. That's what I was known for. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. After touring so much as a dancer, you realize it takes a lot on your body.
Yeah.
It takes a lot on your body. And I was constantly injured on the ankles, my wrists, my neck. You do 30 shows straight, your neck is you could barely move it. So I was on a 30-show tour as a dancer with a company, and in Mississippi, I think it was, I was on the third show of the day, and this was a breaking point for me. I'm giving it my all. Keep in mind, we're doing a 30 days straight, multiple shows per day, and you're on the road. You're not eating the best. At that time, I didn't have a personal trainer. I don't know how to stay in shape for this. And breakdancing, b-boying, it's extremely taxing on your body. So if you're not physically fit, if you don't know how to take care of yourself, you're gonna break down. So I do my head spins. And when I mean I do my head spins, I was one of the best head spinners in New York City. I was in the Target commercial, everything. Let me just tell this story about the Target commercial. I'll get back to this. The Target commercial happened by mistake. This is a funny one. Just because we're there. My friend, Abstract and Technique, two different guys in Skill Methods, they called me and they said, we're going to an audition and it's for head spins. Do you want to come? Of course, right? Who doesn't want to go? And so I go to day audition 1, I head spin, I kill it. They call me for a second run. All right. I go. I wasn't supposed to be there. Only people with an agent is supposed to be there. So when they call me and they say, yo, you got it. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't have an agent. So the guys who invited me gave me the number to their agent and was like, yo, give them all your information. You're going to do it. So that was how I got that commercial. But back to the story when I was dancing. So I'm dancing. I'm in Mississippi and I do a head spin from I'm trying to be the best. It doesn't matter how I feel, how tired I am. This is just natural. You want that hunger. You want to be the best at anything you do. That's just natural. I don't know if it was New York that did that to me. I don't know if it was just life that did that to me. I just wanted to be the best. So as tired as I was at the third show, I'm going hard. And then after I'm done, I walk backstage and I collapse. Done. They rushed me to the hospital. And the doctors are like, well, what were you doing when you collapsed? And I smiled like you guys, I got all these things on my body and they're checking me for all kind of stuff. I said, I was dancing. The nurse goes, go in the hallway and dance. I'm in a hospital. I look crazy. I'm in the aisle of the hospital and I'm doing windmills and swipes and, they're getting a show. And I'm like, I told them, this is normal. This happens to me. My heart does these weird things. She's like, tell me when it starts happening. They rush me to the bed. They put all these heart stuff on and my thing and my heart's going crazy. And the lady looks at me and she goes, you need to go home now. And I said, I can't. I have a tour to finish. She goes, well, it's either go home and see a cardiologist or you may die. Imagine. I look like I'm Bruce Lee at this point. I'm shredded. I look like I'm in tip-top shape, but yet on tour eating McDonald's and drinking whatever. You're not thinking about it. So I have this moment of clarity where I go, this isn't sustainable. I can't keep doing this. I have to think of something else to do. And at that point, I'm doing both. I'm DJing and dancing kind of in the show, but mostly I was really valued for my head spins because they were really good. So I'm like, I think I gotta start falling back off of the dancing because every time I get an injury, I'm out. I'm hurting. So I started taking DJing way more serious. Serious to the point where I was putting together routines that I didn't even know I could do. But that's what happens when your back is against the wall and you're forced to decide what it is you really want to do. And at that point in my life, life told me, if you don't stop doing this, and I listened, I said, you know what? And that pushed me to what I originally wanted to do in the first place, was DJ. Right? I wanted to, I loved to do everything about DJing was just like a mind bender to me. How are they doing it? So I started doing it. I started pushing. I started doing all types of things with DJing, practicing for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I mean, like, I'm sure DJs, other DJs in here who know how to get down and get dirty with the turntables and do some crazy stuff. Like, you spend hours and hours. I mean, you don't have a life. I didn't. People thought I was antisocial. No, I was anti-be-whack. Right? I didn't want to be whack. I wanted to be as dope as the guys that I looked up to. Could I reach that level? I don't know. But I'm gonna try. I want to try. I want to understand what these scratches are. I want to understand. So I'm pushing myself, and me and DP1 would battle it out for hours at a time. Not for real as a competition, but just constructive, just go at it. He would scratch. I would scratch. He would scratch. I would scratch. And I just felt so much in love and so much comfort in the DJing that I just left dancing behind. Left it behind. And every now and then people would say, come on, get down. I would get down, but I left it behind. And I just stuck with the DJing. And I spoke everything that I wanted into existence without even realizing it. I said I wanted to be a DJ. I said I wanted to be the dopest dancer, and I was one of the best. I said I was gonna do things with DJing, and it happened. I got down with Full Circle, right? Another moment that changed my life forever was I was doing a show, and backstage, somebody was playing a CD. That CD just happened to be Immortal Technique. I don't know how many people here have heard of Immortal Technique. Has anybody? He has, okay. Now, I had never heard of Immortal Technique, but apparently he was a big deal at that time. And I told the kid, his name was Jason Lee. And I was like, what are you playing? He was like, it's Immortal Technique. He said it to me like I was crazy. Like, what are you, stupid? You don't know? And he was so mind blown that I didn't know who Immortal Technique was that he gave me the CD. You take this home. So I get home and I go, hey, DP1, have you ever heard this? And DP1 looks at me like I'm crazy. I'm getting this crazy look a lot. He's like, yes, I have heard this. I know him. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's crazy. And I'm like, look, D, this is what I want to do. I want to DJ for somebody like that, like this guy. And so about a year goes by, I'm still doing my same old thing, and DP1 hits me with the info. Hey Joe, Immortal Technique's looking for a DJ. What are the chances that it's gonna be me? Think about this for a second. I'm in the most populated city in the country. There's 1 million DJs in New York City. It's one of the most competitive places in the world, right? You're in New York City. Everybody wants to be the best. So what are the chances I'm gonna get this? So he asked me for a VHS tape, and I was like, I don't have one of those. So I send him a demo of me both dancing and DJing, because I wanted to show him what I could do, you know? And a little bit of time goes by and I get a phone call and I'm asleep. I'm trying to paint this picture for you so you can understand. I'm just like, I don't know what time it was, but I should have been awake already. And I'm like, hello? He goes, hello, is this Joe? With his weird voice, right? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, this Immortal Technique. And I was like, oh. He goes, did I wake you up? I'm like, nah, what's up? I don't want to seem like a slouch. So he's like, I saw your tape. I want to test you out. And he put me on a show. And my first show was insane and way crazier than I would have imagined. And I was just picture this. I went from DJing in my bedroom and doing these weird DJ things, and I stopped the dancing, and now I'm in front of people from Wu-Tang, and I'm like, oh my God, this just got real. Like this is crazy. I'm in SOBs in New York City. This is nuts. It just, the reality kicked in so quick that I didn't even have a chance to digest it. And I think my first time DJing for Technique, I only got paid like $135.
Oh, wow.
It's like the biggest underground name in the I'm like, you know what? It's fine. We're here now. So I do another gig. And it goes great. And then I get a phone call from Technique, and he goes, hey Joe, we have a tour. And he sends me an email with a number. And it was the biggest number I've ever seen in my life. I was like, wait, I'm gonna make that much money for this tour? And it wasn't crazy. It wasn't like $50,000. It was like $3,000. You know what I mean? But at that time, I'm innocent. I'm like, no one ever sent me an email and said, I'm gonna pay you $3,000 to show up and DJ. No one did that. So I'm looking at this email, and I'm like, I don't even know how to respond. I'm not a manager. I don't know how to negotiate. So I just say yes. I just said, let's try this out.
Could've got more, huh?
I probably could have got more. You never know, right? We'll never know. But I just want to tell you how crazy this first tour for me was. It wasn't a gradual, hey, you're gonna get comfortable on these stages and then all of a sudden get to the main stage. No, it was boom, main stage. It was like, we got to California and it was 6,000 people in front of me, Watts outside. It was like, it was crazy. It's on video. They have it on tape, and this was the first time I was like, okay, I have to really try, because we're in this is like where Hubert's from. This is like, these are where the guys are from. This is like the best. So I get there, we do the show, and it's like natural instinct. I think all them years putting me in, I don't know how many years of practicing in the bedroom by myself. All them years got me to this point. And I didn't realize that I was gonna be so prepared, over-prepared, that I didn't even really get nervous. When it was go time, it was go time. And I wasn't the best DJ, but I was ready. I wasn't Mr. Number One. I didn't win 10 DMC battles. I wasn't the best. And other DJs that were better than me probably knew it. But I think they respected the fact that I got up there and I killed it. Not only did I kill it, but after my set, I hit the stage and did a bunch of head spins. Just for the punch. Just to say, you know what else I could do? Watch this, California. And that was the moment I was like, this is where I belong. On this stage is where I live. And I lived there for years, and to the point where I didn't think I was gonna do anything else. I loved it. Some people weren't good on the road. Some people, they do a couple of weeks and they crack. They can't deal with not being home. They can't deal with the food on the road. They can't deal with missing people. And me, I didn't want to be home. I would come home from a tour, it'd be a week tops, and I'm like, when are we leaving again? I didn't like being home, because when I came home, you know what I saw? A bunch of unmotivated people that were stuck in a routine.
That's really sad.
Say that again?
That's really sad.
I love that. He said, that's really sad. It is really sad. It is extremely sad. I would come home to visit my family members, and I would say, so what are we doing? And they would say, this is what we're doing. The routine was they would go to work, come home to drink beer and play video games. And after living the life after being able to accomplish the things that I accomplished, it didn't sit well with me. I couldn't do it. I was like, this is not life. Y'all are missing out.
You have to be hungry.
you gotta be hungry. But I don't know if it was something different about me or if it was something they just didn't learn. I don't know, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And I'm gonna tell you, this is kind of a graphic story, and I'm gonna share this because I want you guys to understand that there's two lives happening at the same time. I got family members, and I have my music family members, people that I love to death in music, like this guy, right? I got people that I love in music, like her right there. You build these connections with people in music, and they're like family. And then I have my real family, right? My relatives. And one day I come home to visit my relatives, and here we go with the PlayStation. I'm sitting in the house. I knock on the door. This is kind of a graphic story, but I want y'all to understand. They go to open the door, boom! I get hit in the head with a gun. Okay?
No.
This is where it is, okay? I get smashed, bam, I'm bleeding everywhere. I'm on the floor, and I'm like, this can't be life. What is happening? And the only thing I could think of is my son. Because at that time, I have a son already. And I'm like, why am I even here? Why am I even here? I am DJ G.I. Joe. Why am I even here? And so, going back to my first point earlier, every time I went in a direction I wasn't supposed to be in, life reminded me, go back. Go back. I'm on the floor bleeding over here, trying to see people that don't have any goals. And why am I here? I could love you from a distance. And at that time, it was a hard lesson to learn, but I had to leave and I had to not come back. I had to go on this mission. I had to go DJ, and I had to go be the best DJ, period, that I could be, so I could never experience that again. Make sense? I know it's serious. But I think the point I'm trying to make is some of us get trapped in these situations in life where you're not sure what direction to go in. And some people forget to listen to life. Listen to life. Life is going to tell you what to do. It's going to remind you over and over and over again, and one day it's going to stop reminding you, and you're just going to be stuck where you're at. Thank goodness for me that I said, you know what? I got to cut these ties. I got to make a difference. I got to change everything about what I'm doing. I can't come back to say hi to you anymore. Not everybody could go. I'm going. I got places to be. And Immortal Technique at that point, his name was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The tours were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was just like, yo, my life is turning into that life that I was like watching on TV. I dreamt of this. Is it possible that I'm about to go to Amsterdam, London? I'm going to Zurich, all these places. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait a minute. Joe, did you do it? You're doing it, Joe. Now, my first international tour, we're talking about, I was a kid that came from Nowhereville. There was no expectation for this to happen. The fact that I was able to accomplish this was insane. I was traveling from country to country to country, getting paid and doing the thing I dreamt of doing in my bedroom. My life was far from perfect. I was not a rich man, but I loved what I was doing. I loved it. And you couldn't tell me that my life wasn't the dopest. And that's all my goal was. My goal was just be dope, Joe. I would go on to meet great people like Chino XL, who has passed away now. I would go on to meet other great artists like Brother Ali, and just so many. I ended up meeting Shortcut from the Invisible Scratch Pickles. I ended up meeting so many DJs that I was like, these guys are the guys I looked up to. At the moment of like the moment of accomplishment that I had, that I said I could die today. Right? I walked up to the gong battle. I don't know if anybody in who knows what the gong battle is. DJ Rock Raider in New York City would throw a gong battle, and it was vicious. The competition was crazy. And if you were a bad DJ, they would run up on the stage and gong you. Boom! Get off the stage. You're terrible.
Oh wow.
Sounds like the Gong Show.
It was designed after the Gong Show. So I walk up to the stage. I walk up to the front door. And who's standing there? Total Eclipse from the Executioners. And I go to introduce myself. And he goes, I know who you are. And I didn't even know what to say. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you're Joe, right? You DJ for Tech. I was like, I'm like, there's no way that Total Eclipse knows who I am. This is insane. Then there goes Rock Raider. Steps outside. And I go to introduce myself, and he also knew who I was. You gotta understand, at 16, what do we say, 16 years old, I think? I'm watching his DMC World Battle, saying to myself, this is what I wanna be. And out comes Rock Raider, years later, knows who I am? In what world is this possible? This is like, sounds made up, but this is an actual fact. Not knowing I was speaking these things into existence, I didn't know that when I said it, I was saying it was so much I wanted that it would eventually happen. I didn't know that. So when they say the power of words are real, I'm here to tell you they are. And the most honorable thing I ever did for Rock Raider was this. At the time, I'm so proud of this story. This is how DJ loyalty works. Rock Raider DJ'd on songs for Immortal Technique before I even met Immortal Technique. And Rock Raider pulled me to the side that day. And it was like the best. I was like, this is crazy. This is Rock Raider. And he goes, yo, what's up with Immortal Technique? I've been calling him. Been texting, he's not replying to me. I held him down. I've done shows with him. I just want a verse. Why is it I can't get a hold of him? And y'all know what I did, right? I said, what you mean he's not answering your phone calls? I said, hold on. I called him right away. And immediately he picked up the phone. I said, yo, Technique, I got somebody who want to talk to you. I put Immortal Technique on the phone with my hero. With my hero, I felt so proud. I felt like it was like the most honorable thing I could have done for somebody that inspired me 15 years ago. You know what I mean? It was just like one of those moments I'm like, man. So that's just a little story about Rock Raider. That guy meant everything to me. When he passed away, I cried like crazy. So fast forward to DJing, and now we're doing world tours, like I said, and we're in London one day. And I'm like, man, I have no luggage. All my luggage got lost in Copenhagen. Like, this is real tour life I'm living. It's like normal now. So we get to Copenhagen, and there's a strike. All the luggage is stacked to the ceiling. The baggage claim doesn't want to work. So I get to London, and I got no bags. I got no clothes. I got no nothing. I'm like, what is happening? We get to London. I go to the venue with no shirt on. I got no clothes. Real rock star stuff. Just picture me showing up in a Hummer. Like, what are we doing? So we get to this place, and we do the show. How you doing, young man? I'll check to see if you won later, okay? It's the future right there. So we do the show in London. Biggest show, place is massive. And Joel Ortiz is performing, right? Who would later go on to do songs with Eminem and all these people. And then we do our set. We go crazy. I do my set. We're going crazy. It's going crazy. And who comes in the room? Kid Capri. Kid Capri comes in the room, bro. and it felt like a God walked in. That was the first person I seen that I was like, what is he doing? And I will never forget the records he was cutting up. LL Cool J, The Jiggling Baby, go ahead baby, The Jiggling Baby, on TV I saw that, and I couldn't wait to do that. I wanted to be that. I DJ'd that day, and then he walked in, and he was DJing on the same stage
Oh, wow.
that day. I'm telling you, this, you can't make this up. So, what I learned throughout my life is say it. Say what you want. Say it and mean it. Say it, mean it, and put yourself in the place where it's possible. Just do it. Don't, you know they say have faith? Everybody's heard that, right? Have faith. Have faith in your dream, in what you want to do. I love this kid. That's it. Have faith in what it is that you want to do, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Try. Just keep doing it. Do it as hard as you can until you, like, with love. Like, I loved what I was doing, not knowing that all this stuff was gonna happen. Dude, one day I sat down with Chino XL. You know what he told me? And we both agreed on this is one of the best lyricists in the world to ever walk the planet. If you don't know who Chino XL is, please write his name down. Study Chino XL. One of the greatest rappers to ever live. We sat down and we were having a conversation. And we both agreed that, bro, we didn't set big enough goals.
Oh, wow.
Imagine all that stuff I told you I was able to accomplish, and then I tell you it wasn't enough. My goal was just to be dope. And we should have aimed higher, but we didn't know. So it's our duty to tell the young kids, or anybody who's starting at any point in their life, dream big. Dream bigger than you think. This goes for anybody. I mean, yo, if you want to be a hairstylist, don't just be the hairstylist. Don't just try to be the best at braids. Be the best at owning the shop with 6 people doing the best braids. But because we didn't know it was possible as kids, all we wanted was to be dope and get respected by our peers. To later find out that we could have done more. We could have done way more. But the fact that we did the impossible is the incredible part. And we did it without planning it. We did it by accident. You know? You go from being the kid in the bedroom, scratching your brains out, annoying everybody, and I know that you people don't know what it's like to live with a DJ, right? Listen to this. I'm gonna go back here and show you. Listen to this. You hear this?
Yeah.
All right, imagine hearing that till 6 in the morning. All night. You can't hear the music because people sleeping. I'm in the headphones. I don't even know how loud this is. Right? You know. DJs know. Who in here is a DJ? You a DJ? You a DJ? You a DJ? Y'all know what it's like to then and break the fader because you're like, I really want to learn this crab scratch. Right? So, after all the years of getting noise complaints, getting evicted from apartments, loud noise complaints, and the neighbors hating my mother and everybody. I drove everybody crazy. But at the end of the day, I lived an exceptional life, and I should have done more. But I appreciate what I was able to do, and I thank God that I had the ambition to even do what I did, because most of the things that I was able to do was unattainable. It was unimaginable. How was I gonna go from the kid that was watching TV to being the kid that was in the Target commercial on TV? How was I gonna be the kid that was watching Kid Capri be the guy on stage with Kid Capri? How was I gonna be the guy who would later go on to meet KRS-One? How was I gonna do that? You couldn't give me a map. You couldn't give me a structure. You couldn't have gave me a plan that said, this is how you're gonna do it. I wouldn't have believed you. Wouldn't have believed you. But I did it. And I think I did it better than anybody else that could have done it. Where we at on time? Oh, I didn't even.
You got 7 minutes.
I don't know what time it is. I'm giving y'all the real raw emotion of somebody who really poured his life and heart and soul into something. And if there's anything I could do that I would like to get across to y'all is inspiration to believe in whatever it is that y'all want to do. Because I'm here today because of it. I'm in this room because of it. So believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and push it as far as you can go. And whatever goal you have today, amplify it times 10. My name is DJ G.I. Joe. Huh? Yeah.
Let's go.
How much time we got?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes? So this is a little something that I used to do on tour with Technique. All right, this is one of those routines I just was like, I'm gonna do this for the people to give them a glimpse of what this element of hip hop is, because that was my job in the show, was to show that element of DJing for 60,000 people. It was insane. My hands are cold, so give me a second. Woo. All right. How loud can this go? I got it. How much volume can I get? Alright. Let's get it. What's up? Good?
G.I. Joe. Remember that.
Had to make some adjustments.
I would like to thank y'all for having me here. It's been an honor to talk to y'all today. I feel blessed and like I said, an honor to be speaking to you today. To every age group, I think it applies to any age group. What the message I'm sending here today, especially homies like this. One day you might be here holding the microphone. My last message is, listen, everybody. Life is never gonna feel perfect, but it might be going in the right direction. All right? If that's all you need to keep going, is say to yourself, this moment isn't my best moment, but I'm on the right path. And that'll get you to where you gotta go.